Hello, my name is João Raimundo, and for my further oral activity, I'm going to talk about how the English language has changed with the rising popularity of social media. This links to the third outcome of part 1 of the course, demonstrating an awareness of how language and meaning are shaped by culture and context. To start, let's define what social media is. So, by the online Merriam-Webster dictionary, social media are forms of electronic communication through which users create online communities to share information, ideas, personal messages, and other content. The question is, how does English language change with the rising popularity of social media? To start, social media came along in the early 2000s, the first websites and the first apps. But only with the mass distribution of computers and other devices that are capable of accessing the internet did social media really explode and really have a boom. Facebook was created in 2004 and Twitter was created in 2006, so this was when people actually started joining. And the real change actually started when when phones were introduced and people were able to text each other. People had a character limit, and because of this character limit, they had to create abbreviations for certain words, and we'll discuss it later. So the change can be seen in 4 different ways. Words are changing meanings, words are getting smaller, there are new words, and there are acronyms. So to start, the words that are changing meanings, the hashtag. Before, the hashtag used to come before a number to represent a number, so we would use to say hashtag 9, which means number 9. Nowadays, a hashtag is a tag on Twitter which links you to a page that you can also see other hashtags, the same hashtags that other people posted, and see the threads. Troll used to come from Scandinavian folkloric myths and legends, and it was a bad creature. Nowadays, a troll, an internet troll, is someone that deliberately mocks other people and jokes with them. I don't know why. A tweet still is a bird singing, but nowadays to tweet something is to post something on Twitter. Thirsty still means to crave for water or liquid or something, but now with the internet it has another meaning, which is to be desperate for someone. It's like you're thirsty for men, you're desperate for men. Words are getting shorter, so thanks became TNKS, but now it's only TK. So if you go on an internet forum, it literally just says TK, which means thanks. Baby lost an A, though lost a UGH, text lost an E, and seriously became seriously hard to understand what it means, because people make these words shorter because of the character limit. Twitter has a 140 character limit of each post, so people have to get creative. Again, TK and seriously. New words were also created. So selfie is a picture you take on your smartphone. Twerk is a dance people can do with their butts. Noob is a beginner in a game. Bae actually means before anyone else, but it's now used as a term of affection. So you would call your girlfriend or boyfriend bae. You would call, hey bae, come here, things like that. Fleek originated from a Vine where a girl videotaped herself saying, got my eyebrows on fleek, which means got my eyebrows looking good, they're great, I love them. Acronyms. The famous YOLO, you only live once, got popularized by Drake's song The Motto, where he says, you only live once, that's the motto. YOLO. And then Be Right Back, that's a pretty old one, that started with texting, which means BRB. JK is just kidding. GG, good game. DM, direct message. This direct message and Throwback Thursday are linked with Instagram. Throwback Thursday means when you post a picture of when you were younger, normally on a Thursday. You would put hashtag TBT. And these acronyms, again, their purpose is to communicate in a faster way, and because of all of the limits Twitter puts. Now, emojis. Emojis became the new way of actually like communicating. And for you to get an idea, iPhone has over 800 emojis or emoticons stored. For example, it's easier to talk with an emoji both physically and emotionally. For example, if you want to say I'm crying, physically it's easier to just put an emoji because it's faster. You don't have to put I'm crying, things like that. Emotionally, it may be harder for some people to actually write that they are crying or that they are depressed, things like that. And by just putting an emoji, you express all of your emotions. Also, nowadays, people use this emoji, this laughing emoji, instead of saying ha ha ha, because it's easier and it just looks better. People like to see things, not read them, etc. Now, is this a good thing or a bad thing? Many people look at it as a bad thing, that social media is degrading our language, because people write how they speak, and many people on Twitter and on texts, they use these acronyms and these abbreviations, and they're misspelled, and they're the incorrect way of writing things, and the syntax of the sentences are all wrong. And the problem is, for students that are learning English, foreign students for example, they will get a false idea and false knowledge of what the language is, and thus they will speak it incorrectly, which isn't the purpose of the language. For example, my stepbrother, he learned English basically on the internet, but he also has classes in his school. He's in a Portuguese school, and he had a test, and when he wrote U, he actually only wrote it with a U, not a Y-O-U, and instead of that he wrote THT, because he's so used to writing it on Twitter and on Facebook and on gaming sites that it just became a habit. And this is the problem that people argue, that foreigners and learning students will see these things and they will get bad habits, and this will be degrading for the actual language. Now, other people might see that social media is a step forward and it's a good thing for the language, because it's a faster way of communicating, and people are able to communicate with people around the globe and teach them their language in a perfect way. For example, if I'm trying to learn Spanish, for example, Spanish, I might speak to someone in Spain in Spanish via Facebook, instead of actually writing them a letter, and it would take a week to get there, and then another week for them to respond. It would take 2 weeks to get 2 letters. Instead, Facebook lets you send them a message and they instantly reply to you, and it's easier for people to understand the language and the dialects and idiomatic expressions of that sort. It speeds up the way we talk, and we can get more information in less words. And many times in essays, when you have a word limit, or for example in Twitter where you have a character limit, this is very important. Just for you to get an idea, it's estimated that there are more students learning English in China than there are in the USA. So it's important for these Chinese students to get in touch with English native speakers via Facebook or other social media platforms, to actually learn the language in a better way. And many linguists say that language is going a step ahead because people are making words shorter, and by doing that it's becoming easier to speak and easier to communicate. Regardless of whether you think it's good or bad, it is evident that social media is changing the English language nowadays. Thank you for watching my further oral assignment, and see you next time.